Today's training is going to be about Google Calendar. If you know about Google Calendar, you know how valuable that resource can be. If you're confused about all the calendars that people are sharing with you or not sharing with you, or you get email pop-up reminders about stuff you don't even have a clue about, maybe today will clear all that up and help you to understand how valuable Google Calendars can really be in you planning out your day, your schedule, your class, whatever you choose to use it for. First off, let's get to Google Calendar. If you're logged in with your Anderson 5 account, and you can click on your little face up here and make sure it's you, not your Gmail account. If you're using your Gmail account, you're not going to get to the same place that we are. You'll get to Google Calendars, but you won't see the same calendars I'm going to be talking about. So make sure you're logged in, and then you can click on your app launcher right here and go down to Google Calendar. Now, if you don't want to go through all the clicking here, you can always go to your Omni bar and type in calendar.google.com, and it will take you to the same place. So now we're in our Google Calendar. In the main view, yours may not look like this. You can pick from day, where you see everything that day. You can pick from week, so you see your week at a glance. Month, which is my preferred, but maybe not yours. 4 days, so you just see today, tomorrow, the next day, and the day after. That's it. So you just got 4 days at a time. Or you can see an agenda view, which is really kind of just a list view. All of them have their merits. All of them are somebody's favorite. Mine happens to be the month view. So that's what I'll be working in. On the left, you have a mini calendar. So if you wanted to skip to another day, you could just by clicking on that, and that's going to take you to a week view by default. And then if you want to go back, you can click on the little Today button up here and go back to today. Below that, you have all of your calendars. Now, if it's not expanded, you want to click the little left side down arrow and expand it out so you can see all of your calendars. Your calendars are the calendars that you control, you manage. You can say who can see it, who can't see it, who can share it, who can't share it. You have total control over all of these calendars. Those are your calendars under My Calendars. All right. Below that, we have other calendars. Other calendars are calendars that you subscribe to, that you want to see the events on them, but you don't have control over them. So some of the other calendars that I subscribe to are Clemson Tigers. So I get the Clemson schedule, Clemson football schedule. Holidays in the United States. I know today's Columbus Day because it's on my Holidays in the United States calendar that I subscribe to. I can't control it. If it's wrong, it's wrong. It's not my calendar to control. The Anderson 5 district calendar, you can subscribe to it. I don't have it turned on because we already have those same dates on our planning calendar, which I'm going to talk about. But I subscribe to a few other calendars. If I wanted to see West Side Sports, I've got that calendar. But I can't control anything in other calendars. I can only control stuff in my calendar. So over here, my calendar, you'll see some of the same calendars maybe that I have. You'll see you have a calendar, and this is your calendar. This is kind of like your personal calendar. It's not shared with anybody. Stuff you add defaults to that calendar until you tell it to put it on a different calendar. You should also have the A5 Career Campus Planning Calendar. That one was shared with you earlier. You might have a few of these others, like the Executive Team Calendar. The clubs and organizations calendar, you probably have that. Now, let's just say you don't have a club, you don't care what's going on with the clubs, you don't want to see what's going on in the clubs. All you have to do is click on the little colored box, and now that calendar is turned off. So you don't see anything on that calendar. You want to see that calendar again, you click on it so that the color shows up and stays, and now you can see that calendar again. Okay? Let's just say you get a bunch of calendars and it's really busy. You only want to see your calendar. So you can go and click the little down arrow and display only this calendar. And click on that, and now it's only your personal calendar. All of these others have been turned off. There's no way to quickly turn them all back on again. So when you do that, you have to go back and actually turn on the ones that you want turned back on. So let me do that real quick so we can actually have something to work with. And I have a lot of calendars in here, and I actually use most of those calendars. And one of the things I use a lot of these calendars for is if I want certain events to be public, I'll put it on a calendar. And then that calendar is public. And I don't have to worry about who can see it and who can't. And if I want certain events to only go to the clubs and organizations leaders, okay, I'll make a calendar for that. And then I only put that stuff on there. So it's a way for me to organize who can see what, but yet I can see everything at the same time. You can share individual events, but think about how tedious that would be to always have to share an individual event, and then they'd have to accept that event to their calendar. This way, they get a subscription to your calendar. They can see everything as you update it, and you don't have to worry about notifying or not notifying or letting somebody know you did this, or especially if you have a collaborative calendar where I can make changes on it, you can make changes on it, and all that kind of stuff. It's very convenient, even though it looks kind of scary maybe to have all these calendars at the same time. Really, you're talking about different layers of your same calendar. So now that we know a little bit about Google Calendar and kind of have a lay of the land, let's talk about adding an appointment or an event. Okay? So let's just say this Friday I have an appointment. So I'm going to create an event on the 16th of October. There are two ways I can do that. I can go up here to where it says create, and I can click on the word create. I can click on the down arrow and do a quick add, and we'll talk about quick adds later. But if I click create, it takes me to the event page. It created a new event, and I get to edit every detail of that event. Now, first thing I would need to do is give the event a title. So I will give my event appointment with teacher. And now, is that appointment all day? If it is, I can click all day, and now I don't have to worry about the times. It'll mark it on my calendar as an all-day event. Will this event repeat? Well, I can set different amounts, different ways that it repeats. Every weekday, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every Tuesday, Thursday, once a week, once a month, once a year, every day. And I can set all the details of that. So every 5 days, however you need to do it. So I can set it to repeat. I can set it for all day. I can also set the time. So I'm going to meet with teacher at 8 a.m. and it probably is going to last about a half hour. So I'll set it from 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. and it's on the 12th. All that's looking good. Now, I can enter a location. I can say room 203, my office. Okay? Now, once I have all that information set, I can hit save and I'm done. It has created the event. However, a good thing to do if you have multiple calendars is to put it on the appropriate calendar. So I can click my drop down and I can see all the calendars that I can add events to. Okay, this isn't all the calendars I can see. This is all the calendars that I have access to add events. So I'm going to actually add that to my facilitator training because we're going to be training. So I've added it to that calendar. I can write a description, training with teachers. If I had, say, an addendum or any kind of attachment I want to put on that calendar event, I can click on add attachments, and then anything in my Google Drive I can attach. I can upload any file, and if I've already used a file, that file will be here where I can pick. So if it's a reoccurring attachment, so it's, say, faculty meeting minutes, if I just want to keep the same document and just add to it and add to it and add to it, I can keep adding that same document back to these events. Anybody that can see your event can see the description and the attachments. Now, I can change the color of the event. This is for your purposes. Only you can see the color you pick. Nobody else is going to see that color. So I like it. It's going to be purple. I'm going to leave it purple. Now, I can add notifications for myself. You can't control the notifications other people get. You can only control your notifications. So I want a pop-up reminder in 10 minutes. Okay, that's the default. If I wanted an email reminder, I can add a notification. I can pick email. And let's say I want an email reminder in 1 hour before the event. So I'm going to get an email an hour beforehand reminding me. And then 10 minutes beforehand, I'm going to get a pop-up. The pop-up's going to be a little screen that pops up, literally like an ad on your browser. So I have that set. Now, am I available or am I busy? Google automatically assumes that if you create an event, you're going to be busy. So it defaults to busy. But maybe you're available, maybe you're just putting a reminder on there, maybe you're putting anything on the calendar, but you're still going to be available during that time. You can click on available. And then if people are looking for a time slot to talk to you, your calendar will show you as available if they can see your calendar. We'll just leave it as busy. Now, visibility. If your calendar is public, the event will be public. Okay? Unless you change it here. If your calendar is private, the event will be private unless you change that down here. Okay? So if it's a private calendar and I want it to be a public event, I can click on public. Now, anybody in the world can see this one event, but they can't see anything else on that calendar. So it's basically like giving special permissions to that one date, but nothing else on the calendar changes. So my facilitator training calendar won't change. Only certain people can see it. But this one event, everybody can see because I set it as public. Once I've done setting everything, I hit save. And now on, well, where to go? October the 12th. So it's right here, appointment with teacher. It's in purple, just like the calendar. If I go over to this side and look, the calendar color is purple. The events on that calendar are purple. Okay. If I click on it, I can see. All right, it's from 8 to 8:30. Where? It's in my room or my office. If that was a map location, you could click on that and it will take you to a Google map and you could see exactly where it was. If it's in a video, if the appointment is for a video call, you can automatically join the video call. It's built in with Google Hangouts. It tells me what calendar that's on and it tells me who created it. So perhaps this calendar is shared amongst several people who have access to create events, so I can see who actually created the event when it happened. Now, if I had an attachment, it would have a place down here for attachments, and if I'd entered a description, it would give me the description in here as well. That's the basics on adding an event to your calendar. All you have to do is click on Create, and then fill in the details. Now, I told you I'd show you a different way to create an event. If you just click on the day that you want the event, it automatically pops up where it says, okay, October 12th, what is it? Another appointment. And I can pick the calendar and we'll put it on the same calendar we had before. But here you can use a little bit of shortcuts. So we can say appointment at 12:30 p.m. room 203. And Google is going to look at that and figure out what you meant and create the event for you. So let's go create event. And now it made it at 12:30 p.m. It didn't figure out that we were going to use room 203, but it's in the title, so that kind of works out well. But it gives us all the basic same information, and we didn't have to go through all the other steps. The same thing here. If you want a quick add, you could say appointment October 12th at 1:15 p.m. in room 203. Let's see if it picks up on that. So we're going to add. Nope, didn't pick up on room 203. I forgot to tell it which calendar, so it defaulted to my personal calendar. So if we edit the event now, I can come in here and change it to whatever calendar I need. And those are the 3 ways that you can create an event or an appointment on Google Calendar. Now let's just say I made a mistake and I didn't want that actually as an appointment or an event. I can just click on the event and then it gives me an option to delete it. So I can click delete and now it's gone. Click on this one, that was the wrong one too, so I'm going to delete that one and now it's gone. Okay, so it's very easy to get rid of something if it happened to be there. And once you delete it off of your calendar, nobody else can see it anymore. It disappears forever. Now, once we have an event, let's go in here and we'll edit our event. Because I want other people to come to this. I want to give that teacher that I'm meeting with a calendar event of their own so they can remember to come and meet me. So here I can add guests. So I'm going to add a guest. Let's just add myself. Let's just pretend I'm the one. So I type in my email address and now I'm a guest going to that calendar event. And it's going to ask me, yes, I'm going, maybe I'm going, or no, I'm not going. And then also Google's going to tell me as the calendar owner how many people I'm waiting to hear back from. Now, guest can have several rights. Guest can see the guest list, so I can see everybody that's invited. Guest might be able to invite other people. Guest can modify the event, so if you wanted them to make an attachment or to write in the description or some other thing like that, you can allow guests to modify the event. I would be very careful with that because they can also delete the event. So perhaps you have something on your calendar and you give them the right to modify it, and then it's not on your calendar anymore. Guess who did that? So I want them to be able to see who's on the list, but I don't want them to be able to invite anybody. So I can add that here. Okay. If I put in, let's just say I add Mr. Bonner. Oops. So I can add Mr. Bonner to my guest list. And then once I get to thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? I don't want him coming to my event after all. You have a little X out here by their name. You click the X, and now they're off the guest list. That's if you saved it or not. It doesn't matter. Once you put them on that guest list, you can always click that X and remove them from the guest list. If you want to invite multiple people, you can type in their email address. And if their name pops up, you can click it and it adds it and you just add the next one. If you have a list of people, of email addresses, make sure that there's a comma between them and you can copy and paste them straight into there. But that's all there is. Now let's see, I don't want him, and I'm going to save it. And now on my personal calendar, I have an appointment with teacher. Now the little arrow indicates that I need to say yes, maybe, or no to that appointment. So I'm going to go to that appointment, so I'm going to say yes. So now I get a notification that I've replied yes to the appointment with teacher on Monday, October 12th at 8 a.m. If I go into my training calendar where I created that event and I go back and look, there's a check mark next to my name, and it tells me that I have one yes and that the check mark is next to my name saying I'm attending. If I was a no, it would let me know as well. So it's very easy to manage your guest list if people are going to use Google Calendars to interact. So now we know about our calendars that have been shared with us. We know how to create an event. Let's create a calendar. Let's just say you realize that you need another calendar to organize your life better. Don't go to create. That's to create events. Right here under My Calendars, click the drop-down menu. Create new calendar. That's going to take you into this screen. This screen allows you to create a brand new calendar that you own and control and manage. So we're going to call this our Tech Tuesday demonstration calendar. Now, our description is a demo. We can add a location, the default location for that calendar. We can pick a time zone if we want, or in a country if we want. We can pick a time zone if we want. And here we can set if we want to share this calendar with others or not. We can always change this later, so don't worry about it. So it defaults to being private only to you. But we can share this with others and share it with everybody in Anderson 5. We can make it public so anybody in the entire world can see it. Or we can not share it at all and share it with individual people, specific people. So I'm going to share this calendar with myself, because that way nobody's going to, oh, I can't share a calendar with myself. So I'm going to share a calendar with Mr. Bonner. All right, so here's where you can set the permissions for the other people. Mr. Bonner can right now, by default, see all events and details. Now, I can change it so that he can make changes and manage the sharing. So he can share that calendar with somebody or not share it with somebody or make changes to it. Or maybe I want to be able to share it or not share it, but not him. But he needs to be able to make changes. I have that option too. You can make changes to an event. Now, see all event details is what it defaults to. That's just where they can see the calendar. They can't do anything with it. Or I can set it to see only free or busy. So remember when we created the event and we checked available or busy? Well, here's where that kind of comes into play. Or if I share this calendar with Mr. Bonner and he sees, oh, well, he's busy at this time, he's free at this time, that's all he's going to see. He's not going to see what I'm doing. He's only going to see if I'm free or busy. So you have all those different options. You can add as many people as you want. When I shared out the calendar with you guys earlier this year, I added everybody at the same time to the calendar. Again, if you want to do that, the emails separated with a comma. Okay? So once I have everything done the way I like it, I can click Create Calendar. Now, let's just say I'm getting in here and I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't want him having this calendar after all. There's a little trash can over here beside his name on the same line. I can click trash can, and now he is no longer shared with the calendar. Okay? So I'm going to click Create Calendar, and now I've created the calendar. So over here on the left, you'll find the calendar, which is right here, Tech Tuesday Demonstration Calendar. So now I have a brand new calendar with no events in it that I can add events to, and I can control a lot of things about the calendar. If I click the little drop down arrow, I can change the color of that calendar, I can change my notifications with that calendar, I can share that calendar with people, I can create an event on that calendar. Now I can create an event the same way we did before too, and then use that calendar. I can change my calendar settings, and we'll go to that screen in just a little bit. I can hide the calendar from the list. So let's say I have a calendar that I only use every so often, but I don't want to delete the calendar. I can hide that calendar from the list, and it doesn't show up on my left-hand side until I go back and actually add it back to that list of calendars. And then I can always display only this calendar if I wanted to work only in that calendar, or if I was looking for something in particular. And you see I have a lot of stuff going on some days, and I want to be very specific that I know it's on that calendar. I can display only this calendar, and then only that calendar will show up. Alright, we've learned a lot about calendars so far. The last thing I want to show you is how to put your calendar on a website. Very similar to what we have on the front page of our website, where this is actually our Google Calendars. And I was able to select which calendars I wanted to display, make them public, and they display here, and this automatically updates. So if I were to go in and add something to one of the calendars that's displayed here, it would automatically populate right here. You can do that with your website. You can do that with any website, really. It's just a little bit of HTML code that you have to copy and paste. You don't have to create anything. So let's go back in here, and let's say we wanted to share this calendar that we just created, the Tech Tuesday demonstration calendar, on a website. So we'll go in here to Calendar Settings on the drop-down menu. It'll open up this big screen with a lot of text. Okay, you can control a lot of your calendar in this screen. you can subscribe to your calendar. If you wanted to add that calendar or give somebody a link to be able to add that calendar to theirs, if it was public, you can do that down here. But what we're looking for right here is we want to click on here, customize the color, size, and other options for our calendar. It's next to the embed this calendar. Okay, so you'll see the screen and then you'll click on this. Once here, you see a calendar. You can pick all of this stuff. You can give it a title. So demonstration calendar. Let's spell it right. Okay, we don't want navigation buttons. So now the navigation buttons are gone. I said, I want my navigation buttons back. They come back. So we can change all kinds of stuff on this screen. And what it does is it changes the code up here that you're going to copy and paste. Now, the biggest thing is down here. You want to actually go through here and pick just the calendars that you're sure that you want to put on this website. Okay? So I've gone through and I've picked the calendars I want to put on the website. There we go. And now those calendar events will show up on that website. Everything else is the way I like it. So I'm going to update my HTML, make sure it's all right, and then I'm going to copy all of this and go into my website and paste it. Now, if you want it to look like this on our homepage, you're going to want to choose Agenda View. Okay? So the Agenda View is what I use to make this. What I use to make the calendar page is just what we were looking at before, the month view. Okay? Month view is all the calendars. Agenda view is just this narrow band. But once we copy this code, paste it into our website, we can have that display on our website as well. Now, the last thing I want to talk about really quick is resources. So if we have an event and we want to use a resource, the two resources we have at the Career Campus is the Student Union and the PD room. So if you want to reserve one of those rooms, this is how you do it. You create your event on your calendar, okay, whatever calendar you want, and then you come over here where it says add guest. We're not going to add a guest, we're going to add a room. So where it says rooms, etc., we're going to click on that. And we're going to click on Anderson 5 Career Campus. And it gives us, well, one of them's booked for this day. So let's pick a different day. Let's pick a Saturday. Okay, so it gives us the option to add room 110, which is the PD room, or the Student Union 409. So if I wanted to add the PD room, I can click add. Okay, it shows up down here as a guest, all right, along with me. I can put it on whatever calendar I want. So just put it on a calendar. I'll fill out all the information the same as before, and then I hit save. And what that does is now if somebody tries to sign up for that room at that particular time, they can't. It won't have an option here for that room. Okay, that way we can avoid double booking rooms. We can avoid confusion when it comes to the district office when they come in to use that room or when you want to use it for your class. Other than that, that's Google Classroom in a nutshell. There's a lot more stuff that Google Classroom or Calendar can do. However, that's enough to get you started. Click on some buttons, play around with it. Google Calendar, I couldn't live without it.